Hello, happy Friday Night Live, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this week. We're kicking it off with the one and only Lefty tonight, and we're going to talk about KPIs, analytics, numbers, data, and all of that wonderful stuff tonight. So, welcome everyone. If you're watching us live, hashtag live. If you're watching us on the replay, we love you just the same. Hashtag replay. Let us know where you guys are coming in from tonight. So with all that intro stuff, welcome Brad. Good to see you. Let us know where you guys are coming in from, because tonight we're kicking it off with Team Canada. Lefty are representing for the True North. And yeah, so Lefty, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm finally catching up on all that crazy work that I had, and I'm feeling the zen. My zen is coming back. I'm feeling more calm, more relaxed. Funny enough, I was never somebody who had, I guess, like anxiety. I was never really an anxious person. And I noticed that the moment I stopped drinking coffee, it all went away.
Coffee. Yep. Caffeine will do it to you.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I mean, that's just a totally off topic. But yeah, no, catching up on some, I don't know if I mentioned this, but COVID contracts is what I like to call them. So for those of you that don't know what a COVID contract is, or what I'm referring to is, it is clients that came to you anytime between 2018 and 2019, and they could just not have gotten their event or their gig or their video done. And now they all in the last month decided to just be like, we're ready. We feel safe. We feel good. Let's do it. And then you get like 10 clients bombarding you in a matter of 4 weeks. And you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yep. That is for sure. Thankfully, I'm not dealing with any of that. I'm dealing with quite the opposite. Now that so many people have gone back to in-person learning and in-person workplace kinds of things, a lot of what we've been doing is starting to slow down, which is fantastic, because it means that I get to turn and look in new directions and grow. And I'm so excited for that. I love when the seasons of your business come in different parts of the cycle. It's just fantastic. You never get bored when you're playing the game of business, I say.
No, you definitely don't. But I mean, before we touch on KPIs and all that fun stuff, I mean, I want to get your thoughts on something, because I'm hearing this word a lot, and the word is recession.
Oh, yes, we have talked about this many times on the show.
So, but now that this recession is actually weaseling its way in like a snake in the grass, how would you go about still being the forefront and not worrying about your business tanking or sinking during this recession?
Well, I point everyone back to, I think it was about 4 or 5 episodes ago. That's all we talked about. And honestly, I'll try and summarize what I said before. A recession is just a word. It just means that there's 2 consecutive quarters of low or no increase in GDP, and that's just a reality. If you're paying attention to your business and your numbers, no matter what the macro is saying, you're going to be fine. You shouldn't be freaking out because the economy is doing something different. If you're focusing on what's working in your business, it doesn't matter what the economy is doing. It matters in so much as you need to understand how it impacts your clients. and
Yes.
whether or not it changes your client's spending habits. But in terms of like freaking out about whether or not it's going to change your position in the market, if anything, it's an opportunity to move when others are fearful. It's what I was saying during COVID is
Yeah.
that the world is shaking up and everything is changing. And it's kind of like you're standing at the base of a cliff and you're in the middle of an earthquake and everything is shaking and all the rocks are tumbling down. You have the opportunity to either run away, wait for the rocks to come down, and then try and climb your way into some real estate afterwards, or you position yourself at the bottom of that cliff, you take up your real estate and you let everyone fall around beside you while you build yourself up stronger. And that's what you do when the economy is going down. If you're investing in stocks, not financial advice, but if you're investing in stocks, maybe it's a time to look at putting some more money in, not being so fearful. Same thing when you're building up your visibility in your business. It's an opportunity to
Absolutely.
stand up and continue talking, to introduce yourself to new people and bring more into your market, have those conversations, build your community. Yeah, with that, my friends, it's time to invite one of my favorite people in the entire world onto the stage. You know him well, the one and only Mr. Jim Beard. Welcome to the
Jazz
stage,
fingers.
Jim.
There he is. Molly, you put that so well. Like it's like you literally just took my brain, put it in your brain, and regurgitated the information.
That
From
sounds
Canada,
messy.
eh?
It is messy. It
It
was
sounds messy. Yeah, you're gonna want to clean that up. What's up, everybody?
what's up?
A little Friday Night Live action. So tonight
Heck
we're talking
yeah,
KPIs, talking about how to
absolutely.
measure. It's so hard to measure content. So it's a
It
topic I
is.
think is very important.
Absolutely.
It is.
Well, we've been just holding the space for you, my friend.
A word.
Take it away.
The floor is yours, Jim.
Absolutely. So all right, let's get right into it. Woo. So So when we put out
So
content, we
I
put out
was
content based around pain points. Okay.
yeah,
So it's testing ground. It's a testing ground for your mission and your message and your movement. What we always talk about, right? What do we do here? We get attention to your mission, message, movement in a very noisy marketplace. So we need to know pain points. What are they dealing with? What is their problems? And I did this recently with a group in Doug's group, and they gave me, I was like, all right, so what are some of the things that you're doing for your challenge? Because Doug Boughton, he likes to focus on challenges and he's very successful at it. And so a couple people said, hobby to course. I'm going to take your hobby to a course online. Some other people said, get noticed locally for your business, so for your brick and mortar. Help beginner guitarists to become the guitarist they dream of. Confidence to play and make content, put themselves out there. High ticket coaches double their show ups and engagement using the VDP, video dinner party, virtual dinner party. Deals that pay challenge. Moms leave 9-to-5 job and become influencers and affiliate marketers. Purpose driven, powerful women in transition. So C-suite women who have not found their purpose. They don't feel like that they're being authentic. So I go, okay, so what are some of the problems associated with someone that wants to, for example, be a purpose-driven, powerful woman? What are they living in right now? What are some of the issues they've had to go to become a C-suite executive? I imagine they had a lot of stories getting there. So if, as an example, if Lefty is our C-suite executive woman who has worked so hard to get where she is now,
You go, girl.
imagine that she's fight the patriarchy, but like there's truth to it, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like Lefty has had to go through so much to get to where he is as a C-suite executive. As a woman in the field, it is different. Why is it different? What makes it different? What is that journey like? What have you had to do to get there? What is some of the bullshit you had to go through to get there? You know, like what's one of the common things that are said? If you're a powerful woman, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
If you are a woman who speaks up, right back to the same word. But if a guy does it, it's viewed differently. Ooh, he's charismatic. He's a dynamo. He's innovator. Da 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 da. But if a woman does it, it's viewed differently. So I want to hear those stories. Because why? Because I want my audience to mirror themselves in my experience. And what am I speaking to? I'm speaking to problems, pain points that they've had to go through to get there, just like Lefty. And so
I mean, if I have one more guy in a suit hit on me, that's it. It's over. I'm done. I'm quit.
you
I
know,
quit. I quit.
that's what I'm screaming. Okay. So I want to hear those stories. I want to hear what they had to do to get to C-suite, because now it starts to make it clear about the pain points that they want to overcome to then step into their authentic selves and maybe start a coaching
Mhm.
business or something like that to escape that rat race. Even though they are C-suite executives and getting paid very, very well, they may want to step into a different type of authenticity, which in this particular person's case was to step into coaching and
Yeah.
to help other women to overcome and get past all that bullshit without all the problems that they had to go through. So what kind of content should we put out? Stories about that journey, because that's what
But
you mirror yourself in, and that is what people are going to resonate with. So now, how do you measure what's working and what's not? What do we elaborate on? What do we expand on? And what do we trash? So
yeah.
now we go through our pieces of content and we look at engagement. We look at what's going on. Brad, shout out, man. We look at our engagement and what people are telling us back, feedback that we're getting from the world. You'll know it's not like one gets one like and one gets three likes. Oh, I'm going to go with
Yeah.
the 3 likes. Like, it's a difference. You'll see a noticeable difference when you are hitting the red button, so to speak. So, as an
Yeah.
example, let's say that following on this same trend of powerful female C-suite executives, people that have really done a long journey to get where they are. It's a rocky road, and now they're wanting to step into a different type of authenticity to be a coach or to be someone that helps others to ascend that same journey, but maybe without all the pitfalls and all the bullshit. So cool. So what kind of content can we put out? Maybe a story about, like we said, if you speak up, you get called the B word, right?
Yeah.
So what's a story based around that? Maybe that doesn't resonate, gets 1 or 2 likes. Okay, cool. The people that like me and this topic don't appreciate that coming from me. Cool. So what am I going to talk about instead? The road to promotion. This is the first time I got a big promotion. What did that look like? The story of how I got my first big promotion and when I actually went from, you know, that lady to Susan and people knew my first name and cared. That transition is this story. Boom. All of a sudden I get 20, 30 likes. What am I going to do?
All right.
I'm going to trash that, the B word talk and all that kind of stuff, because maybe people don't resonate with the cursing. Maybe people don't resonate with the negativity. And then I'm going to focus more on this other thing, the road to promotion, the journey to get there. What did it look like? What did I do? What was it like? Why was it different than other people? Maybe why was it different than a man? What would a man had to have done to make that same ascension? So now I'm going to expand on that. So what do? I take that topic and I break it up into as many other unique topics that make up that one as I can. And now I make stories out of each one. I get micro from the macro. And so now I keep doing this process over and over again. So let's say a macro, the macro is road to promotion. So what's micro for road to promotion? Trainings, visibility, connections, who knows you, how to dress, how to present yourself, how to speak, public speaking. All these things are micros from the macro. So now I'm going to make content based on all of those. And maybe one of those, or 2 of those, or 3 of those take off. And when I say take off, there's a pretty good spread of difference again.
Yeah.
And we repeat this process over and over and over again. Now, is it going to make you Alex Hermosi overnight, Layla Hermosi overnight? No, but you will see a steady incline as time progresses because you're giving your audience exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Thank you. This has been my TED Talk.
I was saying, I was just
This,
about to say it. I'm like, he belongs on the stage, man.
this
That's amazing.
Jim, you know what? This whole thing actually, this is how Bumble was actually created.
Huh?
The app Bumble.
What is that?
Okay, so
I have no idea what you're talking about. What's Bumble?
Okay, so everybody knows Tinder, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bumble is the female equivalent to Tinder. So
okay.
one of the head honchos from Tinder, it was, I believe, two men and one chick, and she was just getting harassed, like probably sexually harassed, whatever it was, from her coworkers, and she was like, "Yo, enough is enough. This isn't going to happen anymore." And what she ended up doing was she's like, "Buy me out because I'm done," right? And they bought her out. She walked away with maybe a couple $100,000 or whatever. It wasn't a lot at the time, but she took that money, invested it into Bumble. Now, with Bumble, what I actually found interesting, and even though it was a dating app, when I was using it about a decade ago, it really brought how good of a salesperson you were to the floor. And I'll tell you why. Because you could match, you could like someone, you could match with someone, but it was up to that girl to make the first move. This CEO gave women the upper hand on a dating app over the guys, and it became like $1 billion app. It's huge even still up until this day. But I just found that when I found out the story, I found it so interesting where it was like exactly what you're talking about. Corporate female, literally getting ran through the ringer, treated like garbage, just says enough is enough, goes and opens her own app and just
That's awesome.
dominates the market. Awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Power
right?
to her. Tear it up. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I love that. What do you think, John?
What is up? No, I'm with you, man. Like, I love, so like I told you 6 months ago, the hills were alive with the sound of business. And so I love the
quote of the night. It happened
Like-
pretty early. Man, that's amazing.
John, what are you smoking, dude? I want some.
come on down, baby. You know you're not that far. No, but truly though, the thing is, like the authenticity, like the actual life experience, the things that really motivate, probably really motivate somebody else, like straight up.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the R word, we're talking about recession, right? We were saying that earlier. Now, just because I happen to be very interested in things like technology and innovation, if you go back and look
Techtember.
at the number of patent applications that have happened in areas where the economies are very tragic or where the economic downturn, innovation spikes through the roof. You can go watch. I wish I had the graph. I'd show you. So those authentic ideas, the things that people really care about instead of the fluff and whatever else, things that really can be identified with, will flourish in said environments because they're universal and they have a very intrinsic either value proposition or attraction or both, right? Like, so I'm with you. I mean, I'm just sitting here, I'm just preaching on and rinse and repeat, like that's exactly what I believe.
Awesome. So, like talking about the KPI and return, people always want to talk about the return on content. The return on content is exposure, is reach. It's not a direct correlation to a dollar sign in your bank account. And people have a really hard time with that. A really hard time. And understandably so. Because you want to know if you're spending money, like if you're using an agency or something like that, you want to know that the money you're spending is going to come back in some form of a multiple. Otherwise, I need to stop spending the money. So, but the thing is content is not a short game. I
No.
want to really let everyone really absorb that. Content is not a short game.
No,
Content is a long game. Look at
Long.
Alex and Layla Hermosi have said countless times. It took them 8 months of spending, I think it was $70K a month,
Yeah.
producing content until they got traction.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah. And that's why I always
70K
say,
a month.
and that's why I always say, it's like, how do you expect to get to the level that you want to get to without investing in yourself?
That's it, man. So
100%.
it's
100%.
something that if you put out content today, do you see a direct result tomorrow? Possible.
Possibly.
It's possible. It's not likely that you're going to get the amount of data you actually need to make a good, solid decision. You need more data points. For example, I like to use this this particular example often. I've got a car I'd like to sell you. It's in pretty good shape. $5,000.
I'll take
Would
it.
you? Would you? Yeah, you're in. You're in.
He might these days, but
Or would you maybe need a couple more data points before you'd want to buy that car?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, of course.
So content is gathering data points, allowing us to make better, more informed decisions from the very people we're looking to engage in business with. We're letting them tell us what they want from us. And that's the caveat too. It's not what they want. Oh, I can fill that gap. It's what they want from you. Is more specific because you are what they buy before the product.
Yeah.
They buy you before they buy anything else. Why is it that there are so many people out there that can create syndicated content, but people will predominantly go with certain people because they bought into them before the service? Why do people go with Lefty over somebody else? Because he's friggin' Lefty.
Yeah, I can tell you that. Yeah, that's exactly why.
He has friggin' in front of his name. But Lefty has certain life experience, trainings, and people that he's worked with that he can pull from that make him uniquely Lefty. Now, people work with him because of that. Now, does he put out an amazing product? Damn right. Really good. But is it better than everybody else? I don't know. But the point of it is that Lefty is uniquely Lefty. No one else has his life experience. No one else has his background. No one else can be Lefty. So when you work with him, you get that as the value prop. So that's... Do it, you little baby.
Everybody's doing
I mean, actually, speaking on what you said, it was funny because I was on a Zoom call with Nick Petito yesterday. And funny enough, because I was editing, I'm just in my realm. I didn't decide to change my clothes or anything. And I was wearing a turquoise green color tank top with like bright, like pylon orange, pinkish flamingos on it. And the moment my camera went on and he's like, "That's why you're you." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "That's why you're you." And I go, "Why?" He's like, "Because you're the only freaking guy that can show up to a Zoom call wearing a neon orange flamingos in a tank top. That's why you're Lefty." And I go, "That's so funny."
John was just telling me earlier that he's like, man, Lefty just teases out the amazing parts of me, and I love it. You know, so it's like that's just one of your skills. Is you're able to bring out this like animated, crazy, awesome part of somebody that they may not even have known existed.
Thank you. Speaking of anime,
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. You get that. That's when you get. That's what you get there for sure. And that's the thing. Like
Oh, thanks, guys.
everybody's. Dude,
This is
exactly.
Friday Night Live, not the Lefty Show.
It
Jesus, let's.
is.
Take it where you can get it, Lefty. It's not going to be.
All right, all right. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, take it where you can get it.
Next week is who's this guy? Like, what's...
Yeah, next week it's gonna be the rise and fall of Lefty.
Even better. A 5-part series.
Yeah, I like it. A 5-part series.
limited,
Awesome.
limited Netflix series.
Shout out to Brad, Michelle, and Sean
God.
watching in the audience. Appreciate you guys. You guys have any questions? We're here to serve you in every single way possible. Let us know if there's anything that we can answer for you in regards to content creation and getting attention onto your mission, message, and movement. So, Molly, when you are digging into pain points, I have a lot of people ask me this, and I'd love to get your opinion. And we've covered a little bit of this in the past, but when you're digging into pain points, like where's square one of how I start kind of finding these pain points? Where do you start?
Mute.
The most famous words of COVID. You're
on
muted.
mute.
Hi.
Hey, she is.
Hey.
What's up? What
Hey.
is up?
Okay. So, yeah, we talked about this a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
and I like to look at the comment section of other people's videos and other people's content. I like to look around in Facebook groups, try and find where my ideal customer would be. Try and find the Facebook groups that they would be hanging out in. Look at the kinds of posts that they're sharing, and look for commonalities. Look for kinds of trends in the things that they're talking about, and start using that as a platform to create content. As well, the easiest place to start, I think, is starting with your own journey. Introducing yourself to your audience is a fantastic first video to make. Explaining to your audience why you're passionate about what it is that you're talking about, or why you got into that certain industry or niche, or why you decided to take this specific path. If we go back to the example that Jim was talking about with our badass C-suite executive who wants to share her journey with her audience, well, how'd you get into it? What were those struggles like? What was it like competing against the guys? What kinds of extracurriculars did you do that got you kind of experience in different realms? Look at creating. In the visibility hacking world, we talk about how there's 2 different stories you want to tell. You want to tell your story of achievement, like how you became that C-suite executive, all those glorious, glamorous stories. But we also want to hear your stories of relatability, those stories of how you struggled, how you fumbled, how you made 1,000 mistakes, how you fell down 100 times, but you got up 101. Those are the stories we also want to make sure that we're telling. So there's lots of different ways of coming up with content to start with, but definitely break it up into 2 easy spots. Start with yourself and your own journey, and then go out and see what other people are doing and how they're struggling with their journeys, and start to share resources for them, and start to share solutions for the problems that you're seeing them sharing. That's where I'd start.
Bravissimo.
Very well said.
Nick, joining us from the internet. He's in.
From the internet.
What is going on, man?
Nothing much. Just testing my new background. My new
Or you're
green
inside
screen.
of an NFT.
Yep, I am.
Recording
I am
live from an
NFT.
What's going on, man? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. So, like, when you think of content, where do you start? Or is content not a concern yet? Or maybe you've created some and you don't know where to go next, or you've created some really successful content and you've got it all on track and it's going great. Like, where do you find that you fall in the grand scheme of producing content and getting visible?
Well, I think strategy tends to be where I start most of the time. It's coming up with something that, like a plan and a strategy, and then you just try it out, because you really don't know if it's going to really work until you actually do it.
So true.
But you don't also necessarily want to go into something and just like John and I call it no think videography,
Yep.
and that stuff's fun to do. But when you don't have a strategy behind it, it's more for you than it is for anyone else.
True.
And I encourage that because it does build other things that you might be working on, like trying to be more confident in creating content.
Yep.
And it gets you to stop thinking so much about it and just to go and do it and let it flow. And then it makes it a lot easier when you do make a plan. You feel a lot more comfortable about it. And then also you kind of get ideas that are born from that. One such experience was John and I doing a snipe hunting short film, a joke. And the idea was that John and I would shoot it, and then we would give it to myself, him, and my brother, and we would just each of us edit it differently, and just see how that would go as well. And that was really fun to see each of us how we edit the story, what we didn't use, what we did, and all that stuff. And like, how did we play it more of a funny? Did we make it try to sound serious? So that was a lot of fun. But it's a great activity that just gets you going. And that's where I would start if you've never done content ever, to just go do that, because it kind of brings out the kid in you. Like when I was a kid, we were running around with a Sony, 8mm tape, or 16mm, and going around and shooting stuff, and just doing it and creating these really wacky, strange stuff that I would never show anyone else.
But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, John, about like giving yourself permission to play.
That's exactly, dude. You have no clue how much that struck me directly through the cockles of my heart 2 weeks ago. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And the more I play, the more serious I actually get. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna dial this in. I'm gonna do this. So I made a piece of content that night. I just did it. I no think did. And then this last one, I was like, I got a message to tell. I got something I'm gonna say to people. I want them to understand something, and it's coming. It's coming soon. It's like it's almost done. I'll post it either tonight or tomorrow. And anybody who follows me who wants to see it, you'll see what was in my head, and but from a playful lens, like having fun and showing things and just making it from a just talking to people and sharing things and just having a good time.
Is that what you showed me?
Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was a cool thing.
Yeah. So
a lot of people are feeling left out right now.
Right. That's true. Fill them in a little bit.
What is this secret? What is this secret video?
Okay. So right. So you walk around, you're like, I see these things. I'm on Zoom all day, and I see every kind of web presence you can possibly imagine, and then some that don't. Like they're just there. Like there's no people, there's no video, there's no that. It's just like, okay. So I've seen everything in between. And because you're there, you don't see things, you don't understand things. And so I said, when you're starting off, what is it that you do first? Like you don't know anything. What is it the thing you need to go first? Now I know, and I believe it's right here. It's the audio. If you start with the audio, you're buying a lot of things. It's a great investment, and it works. It's just like, but the answer you'd probably expect is video, because you look so good, and I want to get that $1,000 camera or whatever. No, we're doing audio. And there are very specific reasons why that you can't really perceive very easily unless somebody shows you, which is exactly what it does. And so it's a video that says, here's a great video with a lousy audio. Here's a lousy audio with a great video. And here's a great video, but something in between, it just hits it home, because you're like, okay, yeah, I want the good stuff, right? You can see and hear the difference and how that creates a visual authority for you, or even just an authority component for you. And it was my way of kind of telling that story in a playful way, showing it and saying, yeah, if you want to do this, this is where you start, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I love that.
Shout out to Tony Caggiano, DJ Lee, Jacob Pollock, and James Havis, all watching with us right now. Appreciate you guys. And James Johnson just joined as well. Welcome, James.
Hello.
All right. What up? What up?
Guys, I got some interesting, an interesting thing happened, and Instagram is officially YouTube.
There are certain
Yeah, I heard you say that it was kind of going that way. Is it official now?
Instagram, oh boy.
They're gunning for?
Okay, so this is typically what happens. You make a thing, you post a thing, the thing does terrible. You take the thing down. Okay? Stop touching your things. Okay?
Oh no. Okay.
Okay. Now, it wasn't like it was before. I mean, to a degree, yes, to a degree, no. But they have now ripped a chapter out of YouTube's book, and Instagram is now an interest-based algorithm versus a social-based algorithm. Who you follow, who follows you, how many likes you get, comments, all that, it barely matters anymore on Instagram. It all matters. What matters is your stuff interesting? And are they going to want to recommend it to other people? Exactly the way YouTube works. They don't care if you have 100 subscribers. If your thing is awesome, you'll get 1 million views on it, even with 100 subscribers. If your thing is junk, you're not going to get it. So I witnessed this. I was like, no, this isn't going to happen. They're crazy. That's what? And I noticed it firsthand when I uploaded my first, The Power of Color Grading. Sorry, the second one. The second Power of Color Grading. I put it up. I was about 5 hours in, and I had like a handful of views. It was maybe like in the low hundreds. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I want to do this again. This is really bad, but I really want to showcase my work. I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. How do I have almost 4,000 views? So I did it again. And then the second time I did it, it was almost 6,000 views pretty much within an hour. Like my phone just kept going like bing, 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 bing. Like I could not touch my phone for an hour. It was literally insane. And then I tested it with the one that I put out today. Has only, I think, maybe shy of 200 views at the moment. But I want to see. I want to see if the algorithm picks it up the way it did the previous 3 based on interest. So this is happening, people. This is real life. This is going on. Like we have shifted over to a new algorithm, and I think it's super fun, and I think it's going to help a lot of people grow.
I like where your head's at.
It's just about making it interesting now.
Molly's just about to enter the Tron track, so we only have her for a little bit longer.
She's on the grid.
We can have a background competition.
I mean, I feel like you and Molly and John are gonna throw down.
No, mine only goes. Mine just changes colors. It doesn't transform you to like.
I mean, you got the
Dimension
lava
X.
lamps. It's hard to keep up with the lava lamps.
I don't have a portal to Dimension X though. That's what I would really want.
Like, I would love to see your morning routine of you just with coffee stumbling around, turning on your lava lamps, like making sure all the colors good. Colors good.
You good?
Okay, cool.
Good.
Quick little sound check. All right, and then bing! Hey, everybody!
But the thing with lava lamps is that you have to let them warm up, right?
Yeah,
right.
So
that's what happens.
as you're trying to caffeinate, your lava lamps are softening up, and then
It's like she was a lava lamp owner. She knew all the routine. That's exactly what happens. I walk by my office, I turn it on, and I go ahead, little lava lamps, you warm up.
Go ahead.
wake up now.
And I go out to the
Oh,
coffee
man.
machine. I get a little cup of Joe, maybe have a little snackage, come back, and then they're usually ready for business.
I like it.
Jeez.
Oh, we
I
got a
love
question here.
Whoa.
Who's going to FHL?
There they are. There
That's
they are.
right. Options, not excuses.
Well,
I've
wait,
been making
wait. I
good
have a
use
What is
thing
of
for
that.
that
FHL?
too.
Yeah, there you go.
Funnel hacking live, friend. You know about this? I don't
Oh,
know. Funnel
okay.
hacking live.
So-
No, see, but you know less about the cult than I do.
Yeah,
So there you go.
You got to get indoctrinated. It involves a baseball bat, rubber gloves, and we dress up like Barney.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
You shall not have the secret handshake until you
Yeah.
read the
You
book.
got to get beaten in.
Oh, okay.
First
Dang.
rule
like
of
that
Fight Club is
episode
you
of
don't speak
Casino.
about Fight Club.
Yeah. The first
The
rule
tough sounding
of
cult
the
going
Fight
on.
Club, yeah. But the very high, just actually, I think that Molly would probably explain this better. Molly, what is ClickFunnels and why does it matter?
Oh, jeez. ClickFunnels is a company that runs a software product. Why does it matter? Because they build a great community of people. And they have an event every year. It's a big, fun conference. It's a wonderful sales process to their high ticket coaching program. But if you choose not to jump off the deep end, it's still a fantastic event. You learn tons about funnels, traffic, different, so that every day, they kind of follow the same process where day one is about funnels and day two is about traffic and there's a day about impact, and it's yeah, great speakers, tons of great information, fun little events, but most importantly, a community of incredible people. And when you've gone a couple times, it feels like a family reunion.
Cool.
Yeah, it's,
Nice.
I am beyond excited to go. So I will
Maybe
be there.
next year.
Fuck yeah. We'll bring a contingent of people, and you'll all wear your visibility hacking shirts.
Contingent. Listen
And
to
we'll get,
you, it's a contingent.
She'll bring up the regulators. We'll be regulating.
Yeah, mount up.
And we'll all
It's time to-
visit the Matrix together.
Uh,
I love
I'm
this.
in.
So let's talk about KPIs, my friends.
Yes.
If we're looking at our content and we're realizing that our KPI clearly isn't going to be the dollar amount, the transaction at the end of the day, we're not going to go out there and create a 30-second reel and then instantly see a conversion to our high ticket programs. What are the KPIs that we should be looking at? What are you guys looking at with your content right now? What should people be looking at? Let's open the floor. What do you think, Jim?
KPIs you should be looking at as engagements. You should be looking at when people are actually giving you feedback. If people are just liking it, it's pretty weak because you need to compel them to respond. And even if it's just like, dude, this sucks. Don't ever do this again. Cool. Thank you for that. I really appreciate the feedback.
Yeah.
And if you get like 2 or 3 more, this sucks, then you probably know that it sucks. And it's okay. Because the next one you put out is going to suck a little less. And eventually you're going to suck so little, you're actually pretty good.
Tell us how you really feel about that.
Hey, I'm going to bring it to you. All right? I'm going to
Oh,
bring it to you.
perfect.
I'm a subscriber of Embrace the Suck. And Embrace the Suck is just, that comes from my man Dustin Valkema, by the way. That's
He does.
thing.
That's legit. He should trademark that.
Yeah, he needs to. I have heard other people say it, but
Get the
none
pink.
with the vigor of Dustin. When he says it, you feel it. You feel the suck. But the thing is, you got to give yourself permission to play. You got to give yourself permission to put stuff out there that probably is going to take a dump. And that's okay, because some of it won't. And the stuff that won't, you focus on. And you leave the rest of it behind. And then when you focus on that thing, you extrapolate out based on topics that fall underneath that macro. And you just keep on filtering,
Keep it
filtering. And eventually you're going to get to the point where you go, oh, my people like stories like this from my past, and they like testimonials. That's where I focus. That's where I get the most engagement. That's where I get people reaching out to me, wanting to work with me. That's the content I'm going to produce going forward until it doesn't work. Because, by the way, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. The markets change. You also must change. So the stuff that Alex Ramosy is putting out right now, I guarantee you, next year at this time, it will look different.
Yep.
Because
that
it has
is-
no choice but to.
And I made a post about that.
You
stating,
did, and I love that post.
Stop trying to create the Hormozy style. Stop trying to create the Gary V style.
Yeah.
What about your style? When is your style going to be like? When is that going to matter? You know, like everybody just wants to do what that guy's doing, what this girl's doing, but it's like, what are you doing? Your brand has to matter. Like, no offense, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but if you fail, Alex still sleeps at night. So he, as much as he helps businesses, he really doesn't care about what you do. So you have to do for you before you try to mimic someone else. And then when just like reels and trending audio, the way trending audio dies, and the way Jim just said it, the Hormozy style is going to die too. The Gary V style is going to die too. And then what's going to happen? Someone else is going to have a style, and then you're just going to copy them. And then it's just and then we're all just walking around in a sea of little cookie cutters. Like,
I just love the way he was like, a little cookie cutters.
little cookie cutters. Like, you know, like, because you have the little gingerbread guys that are just like, right? Like, do you figure out something for your brand? Figure out something that like works for whatever it is that you're selling, whatever it is that you're doing. Like, if Hormozy likes using Arial Black, bold, 192 size font, go pick a different font. There's 1,000 other fonts.
180 size font. Different.
Of course, he's got it. Of course, he's got it on speed dial apparently. So.
Yeah. So that's just what it is, you know. Like I always try and just think of other things, do different things. Buy a font that maybe somebody might have never used before, upload it into your editing program or software, and just start messing around with it. Be like, oh, that works. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, it needs a drop shadow. Oh, it doesn't need a drop shadow. Like whatever, right? Like that's how I've like kind of built around things. But to get to KPIs, I measure it on shareability.
Okay. And now what do you mean by shareability? Just to take that a step further.
Yeah. So when you get into
someone has shared it.
Yes.
So you see that in the back end that, okay, this was shared X amount of time. You see that
in
the engagement. So in case people didn't know that's where you can find it. So the more shares you get, the more you're seeing that as being successful content.
In my opinion, yeah. In my opinion, yeah. And the reason is because, like, I mean, I could leave you a comment, and there's nothing wrong with leaving comments. Obviously, the comments, push the algorithms to say like, hey, this post bangs, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost like I can leave a comment and be like, hey, Jim, that was a cool thing you posted, but it might not be worth sharing it with someone else.
Dang,
so
flooded, Lefty.
Well, I'm using it as an example.
I'm just messing with you, man.
But I just feel like everybody is so used to comments. We've kind of like been brainwashed to believe that follow matters, like matter, comments matter. But I think personally what the bigger picture is like, I can do all that, like, comment, whatever. But the moment I hit that little email arrow and I say, yo, Molly, you got to watch this because this was sick, that's when you know you're making killer content.
I like. And we have someone no stranger to amazing content, our own James Johnson joining us. What's going on, man?
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm not at work.
Yes. Holy cow. I think it's the first time ever.
Yeah. It was,
so James,
my daughter just turned 13 the other day.
I'm sorry, what was that? Your daughter's what?
Yeah, well, I've only got... My daughter just turned 13. So we're having a party tomorrow. So I took a couple days off. So 'cause I don't have
Happy
the weekends
birthday to
off. So,
her.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
yeah, yeah. But when it comes to content, like I've only done, I mean, I'm on Instagram. I only usually post things like pictures and quotes, and I've only done a couple of reels. And I filmed a video of my son on a tractor at my in-laws there in the summertime. And I don't even really know how to post a reel, but I did. And I couldn't believe how many likes it got and comments. And yeah, I was just like, I still get these likes today. And then it's been a few weeks. I think I'm up to, yeah, maybe 200 or something, which to me, that's a lot considering I've only done two. The other one was when I took a page out of Steve Larson's book when he talked about riding the wave of what's a hot topic, right? Basically, and my hot topic a while back was abortions. And I made a quick video saying, picture it's 3 a.m. There's a knock on your door, and your wife or your sister or your daughter is at the door, and she's all torn, all her clothes are torn off. Now you don't believe in abortion, and that got quite a few comments and a couple shares.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like it's to me, it's so true. Like if your sister or daughter or mother, wife, whatever came to the door at 3 a.m. and she was raped, like so that's a hot topic. And I totally agree with Steve Larson is riding that hot topic. And I know that, there's some states that you're not allowed to have abortions. And the problem is men are making these rules for women's bodies, which makes no sense. So I got quite a few comments and a few shares on that video. And like I said, I've only done two of those. So I think, like Lefty said, when you can get videos that get shared, I think that means a lot because, people like it, heart it. I think every time I watch anything that's half decent, I'll give it a heart. It's no big deal, right? But when someone shares your content, I think that's huge.
Yeah, I agree. And it's tough. It's tough with hot button topics like that because that's a big one, really, really big one. And being able to tie that back in a way that doesn't take away from the value you give. So, as an example, if you take a stance on something, people do tend to respect people that take a stance. They stand for something, right? Like Russell Brunson in recent years has really come out about his Christianity. And I think that's awesome. To speak your mind, like make your opinions known. But he still has to tie that back into ClickFunnels. So it's like, as long as you can make a logical connection that doesn't feel forced about you taking that stance and making it public, then I think you're onto something great. I think where you run into an issue is where you take a stance and it has no connection back to like the mothership, so to speak.
Yeah, that's the biggest risk of all, man.
It's tough. That could tough.
Be.
Yeah. Well, I think you see that a lot in a lot of young content creators that kind of follow the stream of hot topics and feel like they have to say something, and it doesn't come across as genuine, and then it's not as effective as someone who talks about it in a more, controlled and more heartfelt way. Because if you just decide to speak up about something because someone else did it, you could tell the way they talk about it, the way they mention it. It just feels like an ad almost versus like something you actually care about.
See, to me, I think it's, for me, the purpose of me doing that video, because I am very passionate about it. And I mean, I know a girl here, it's just my sister's friend, who's abused the system. Like she has 7 abortions. Like that's abusing the system. I get it. But, if I tell you, if my daughter came home at 3 a.m, I'd be killing some bastards, right? Yeah. But I'm very passionate, and I don't think the government has the right to tell people they can't do it. Like it makes no sense. And the same with, like the cannabis oil that, there was on Montel Williams' show years ago. That's how old it was, where a little girl had to go across state to get some treatment because it actually stopped her from having seizures. Now here's a girl that's having seizures multiple times a day, and it's medicinal purposes, like, and you can't get it in certain states. Like, that's nonsense to me. That's where the better good is to serve the human being. And if you're and some people say, oh well, pro-life, this and that, and I'm like, well, I kind of get that, but if a girl is a teenager, or it doesn't matter, like, she's getting raped by someone that she didn't want to have sex with, I'm sure that baby she's not going to want to have, right? So yeah, so I'm very, to me, yes, I get it, the point that you got to tie it back to your content, what you're doing, what you're selling. But to me, it's kind of the way I am. I want to say stuff that means something to me. And it's kind of being like on the prolific side, that okay, if you like me, that's fine. I got a few guys commenting on that post about one guy called me slanted-eyed dog. So I commented back. I said, well, dude, you don't even have any content on your profile. You post a bunch of pictures of a basketball player, so don't be commenting on me. But yeah, I think that to me, it's about being real and just getting people to like you. When I do Facebook Lives, it's the same thing. Like, I'm talking family and fun, and that's the things that matter to me the most. So that's,
And just for
I know
clarity,
it does, like you guys say.
just for clarity, so for clarity's sake, when I say that, I mean tying back, like, this is something that is an undertone or a support to what I'm doing, a reason, my why. So as an example, Russell, going back to Russell doing the Mormonism and spreading that around, is he wants to essentially spread the word about Mormonism and also donate to Underground Railroad, is one of his big things. So he made a connection that the purpose of what he's doing goes to Underground Railroad and spreading the Christian beliefs. So in your regard, a connection could be, I'm doing this because I want to give to causes that allow women the right to choose. So anytime you work with me or you help me in any way, I'm contributing to these causes because it's something that matters to me very deeply. So there's a connection. So now I'm trying to give an example of one that just doesn't really work, because then what ends up happening is, oh, you're the anti-abortion guy, and then you go, well, that's not all I am, and they go, well, that's what you're loudest about. So you don't mean to, and no one, but it's just the internet, right? The internet says, oh, you're this,
Categorizes you. Yeah.
you're this, and that's what you're here for, and that's what I come to you for. So I would just be cautious about making sure you have a solid connection back to, like I said, the mothership, because you don't want to be pigeonholed into being just a someone on a soapbox that doesn't have anything else to contribute.
It's very far,
because you're not, and I know
very
you very
far
well.
from
You are not that. You are not someone just yelling on the
it's
soapbox.
very far away from.
You're someone that has so much to give. So I would hate to have, and I'm just using your example because you gave it. I would hate for someone to say, he's the anti-abortion guy. And it's like, no, that's like a fraction of what he is. Like, he knows all these things about business. He's an amazing marketer. He has all these connections. He has the attention of all these really big names and so on. And they go, well, I mean, what he's loudest about is this anti-abortion thing. And then that's when I'm saying there's
it's very far away. Yeah.
So that was my only
point. Very far away from
just
joint ventures. Yeah, no, for sure. No, it makes total sense. I mean, it was only one video, but I made a couple of comment posts, but you're right. You got to kind of tie it back and talk more. But seeing after that reel, I guess it is that I did with my son on the tractor, is like, I got to make more marketing reels, because I haven't made anything really. So talk about interview specialists and connections and with entrepreneurs and influencers and doing joint ventures. So yeah, it's another thing on my checklist I need to start doing. So But yeah,
I'd
for
love to
sure, you
get
got to tie
Molly's
it back.
opinion on this about taking a social issue and making sure it's impactful. So,
Yeah, sharing
what
the journey of it.
the
So
journey of
not
it? Okay.
just sharing, this is my opinion, see me wave my flag, but show the journey that brought you there. And that doesn't necessarily mean sharing all of your personal stories. It means finding shared values. So what Russell's doing is he's leaning on a very commonly shared value system,
Mhm.
that that has like insider lingo and says, if you understand this, you're one of us, like you're part of us. It makes people want to feel included. So what you do is you share your journey with this message. So if that means you are inspired or called to start donating a certain amount of proceeds from your next program to an organization that helps women in X, Y, and Z, like whatever capacity you want, right? Um, Now you start saying
Mm-hmm.
within your launch material, you're still talking about your product, but you're saying like, look, there's something bigger to what we're doing here. We're not just here to make money in our businesses. We're here to make a difference in the world. And what we stand for is X, Y, and Z. And you put those shared values into your system. It's the art comes in the way that you share that message. You can be really blatant and really obvious and say, we are a pro-choice organization and we stand by that in these ways. Or you could be more finessed with your wording and your phrasing around that, and speak more broadly, depending on how bold you want to get with that as being a value statement. But it's also, when you stand behind your values in that way, you also attract more customers who are like you, right? So going back to that
Mm-hmm.
authority story and the relatability story, the authority story is, look at this cool new product that we're launching, look at the great things that this program does, but also look at this wonderful community of people we've brought together because we stand by the idea of choice. And choice can, like, that's a beautiful like topic to talk about. So you can say choice, we as an organization stand for choice, and we stand for choice in that you as an entrepreneur have the ability to choose what you do with your time. And if you want to choose to spend more time with your
Mm-hmm.
family, then heck yeah. But if you want to spend more time traveling the world, then heck yeah, we're behind that. You stand behind the shared value without necessarily always leaning into the controversy. You'll get engagement when you lean on controversy because people will be pissed off or people will be inspired either way. But is that necessarily always the right kind of engagement we need when we're ultimately trying to run businesses and build true connections with people? Maybe not all the time, I would say. But if when you step backwards and you
Mm-hmm.
speak more broadly to what that common shared value is, then you don't get pigeonholed in as the guy who only stands for that one thing, because that will turn a ton
Makes
of
total
people
sense.
off. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for the tips.
And choice is a cool word as well because it also, when you're talking about joint ventures, now it opens up your ability to choose what influencers you work with and choose what direction your brand and your business goes, by choosing the relationships you have and choosing the partners you have. Because now you're not just waiting to pick the first person who comes your way. Now you have the ability to choose those partners you work with, and I'll show you how. Kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well said.
Great
I dig
feedback.
it.
Thanks.
Yeah. So
And
here's
to
a
answer your
question.
other question, Funnel Hacking Live, Jim and I will both be there. Will
Heck
you
yeah.
be there, Mr. James?
Okay.
You gonna be there,
No, I will
James?
not be. But
Oh man.
no, I'm unfortunately no. But I will be hosting, like I did the last 2 years, a Funnel Hacking Live hangover. So just a matter of
Yeah.
setting a date afterwards and getting you guys on. Like I had Jim on last year and a couple other entrepreneurs and finding out what their experiences were and their biggest takeaways. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's I've reached out to a few bigger names this year too, and I'm hopefully they can jump on. But I know the timing is all. When you set, I usually do it 2 days for about 2 hours each day. So we'll see what happens. So yeah,
Awesome.
it's always
Well,
been
we are
lots of engagement. So
nice. Well, we are happy to join you. Just let us know.
yeah, for sure. And for those people that don't know what Funnel Hacking Live is, like when I stream it in the group, right? There's people that don't understand what it is, so it kind of indoctrinates them a bit more when they see these amazing experiences. Like the first year I did it, I had a whole bunch of people came on, and they were all their first time, and it was just everybody was like a kid in a candy store. They were all telling their stories and how they all met each other for the first time, and it was just amazing. And the best story was Lucia, Lucia from Vanderbilt from South Africa, and she paid Russell, she paid Alex, she paid Jamie Atkinson. She had a wad of cash just paying everybody for their programs. Yeah, she just had a hell of a time. So, and that's the same lady that asked me if I can bring computer parts down from Toronto all the way down to Nashville. I've even talked to her before. That's how much the power of video is, guys. She trusted me because of watching my lives, and I've never even seen her before, never talked to her, and she just asked me to bring computer parts from Toronto down to her. So because she couldn't get them delivered to South Africa. So it's like, wow, she made me an amazing testimonial. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's what I talk about. That's one of my main stories I talk about. Yeah.
Awesome. Well.
I'm just having a great time on Photoshop right now. I'm going to be honest with you guys while I'm listening here. I haven't opened up Photoshop in such a long time, and I'm just having an awesome time.
I don't ever have an awesome time in Photoshop.
So I have
For the record.
I have a quick question for you guys. So my Facebook group, I got about 325 members, and all different levels from beginner all the way up to Comic Club winners. Now, I'm just thinking, I always take my advice, but I never listen to it. Now, my next program, I was thinking about doing an interview program, like getting influencers to help you grow your show, grow your group by interviewing people. And I'm thinking, should I go back into the questions that people have asked me and focus on and give them what they want? Or should I try and just, I know there's Facebook group owners that would love to learn how to grow their group. And I'm just thinking of the aha moments. Like, for instance, when I interviewed Doug Boughton for the first time, I only posted it 2 days before the interview, and I had 83 people join my group. When I interviewed Marley and Steve, I think I had about 50 people within 4 or 5 days join my group. So these are kind of aha moments, the power of interviews with the right influencers, especially when you're a busy 9-to-5er and you can't be doing organic marketing all the time. All it takes is a few interviews to get the right people into your group. So yeah, I was just thinking what you guys think of that. Which way would you go?
I would say for regular content, because you want to be creating content regularly, use the questions that people have already asked as your regular content, and then that way you can focus on doing those bigger interviews on, you don't have to do them every day. You can do them once every 2 weeks or once a month, and then you can build up a bigger launch towards those interviews. But also then constantly be selling your people in your group on, hey, do you want to join me on this quick Zoom kind of small group training? And then keep refining your teaching process of how do you teach people the building your group part. When you have the group on Zoom, you ask them all the questions, you get all their feedback, you get all their questions, and you run the same thing again in 2 weeks. where you refine it even more and you share more feedback from your latest interview and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think a lot of people have reached out like saying, James, how do you, you're finding these, like, how do you have these relationships with these big, Dream 100 people? And I say, yeah, exactly that. I just Dream 100 them, and I provide value to them, and I comment on their stuff, and and other people have said, James, when you do interviews, you just seem so natural. And I've always said it's just a conversation. Like, no matter who your guest is, like,
Yeah.
don't freeze up. It's just a conversation. So
So
I think
each
if
of
I can
those
teach
should
people
be a
that, then
different main pillar of content. So how do
yeah.
you interview
Okay.
people? That, like, interview techniques, that's one of your pillars. How do you reach out to people? That's
Hmm.
another one of your pillars. How do you get people into your group with this process? That's another one of your pillars. And then pick a fourth pillar, whatever you want it to be, and then rotate through those. Have you done the year of content training?
Kinda, yeah. When I followed Jim when he did with Daniel Das, so I kind of made
I recommend
myself.
going through it again and thinking about it in that way, of that your four pillars are going
Hmm.
to be related to what people are talking about. So if you're like, how do we figure out this new bringing people into the group using the interviews as a main topic? You can break them down into your four pillars, and then throughout the process, you'll get deeper and deeper. What are the steps involved in getting someone to an interview? What are the steps involved in getting someone into your Facebook group? Then you go deeper into each of those, create individual pieces of content where you're like, okay, we're going to talk about, like, today's entire pieces of content, or this week's entire content is just going to talk about what you do before the interview starts. That's all we're going to talk about today. And we're going to get really deep into it. And you gather more input from your group and your viewers, and you can create even more content off of it. But it's a brilliant way of not only creating content that's relevant to what you're talking about, content that drives people to something at the end that's tangible, but it's also laid out brilliantly so you actually have the course created at the end as you're thinking through it. And
Hmm.
it's just the way that you deliver that content. And bam, you go through that process once, takes a couple hours, and you have everything from the content that's going to grab people's attention all the way to the content that people are going to pay you for.
Well said.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. No. Now you
I
got the
remember the
wheels
first
spinning.
time I did that process with somebody and we ended, and they were like, dude, it's kind of like an outline.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know. It was
Yeah.
like it was a happy
Yeah.
accident, as my man Bob Ross would say. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And we kind of zoomed out. I literally like zoomed out and we saw the whole thing at once. And I was like, that's a high ticket course. And then they got super
Hmm.
excited because they had been trying to think of what they could offer as a high ticket course. And I was like, well, I guess that's done. Like, it was so cool. It's just such an added benefit that just kind of comes with structuring your stuff like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special watcher right now that I gotta call out. We have Junaid Ahmed and McCall Jones.
What up?
Shout out to McCall. We are big fans, of course. For those of you that don't know, McCall Jones is incredible. And she is one of the most fun people to talk to ever. Like, she is so much fun. Like, I remember, and I hope we get to talk to you again, McCall, for a FHL. We're gonna, try and kidnap you or something, that's questionable, and then we'll interview you. And I'd love to talk to you again because last year was a ton of fun. And she took a phone, so I don't even know whose phone it was, and she just ran. She just took the
Literally.
phone and took off. It was awesome. But she teaches about charisma styles. So, are you a particular kind of charisma style when you speak? If you're trying to be the wrong kind of charisma style, then you come across as inauthentic. you're not being your true, authentic self, and people won't resonate with that. So that's something that McCall teaches about, and she teaches it absolutely incredible. So check out McCall if you get a chance. And of course, our own Junaid Ahmed, who makes your video look absolutely stunning. And we're going to see him at FHL. I'm going to see him at TNC. I don't think he's going to FHL. Are you, Junaid? Are you going to FHL? I think I'm going to see him at TNC, which is a day after we get done with FHL. So Florida, Cali. Boop, boop. Just a little boop. That's all it is, a little boop.
Goodness.
But it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. And I'll probably sleep someday.
At some point, yeah.
At some point, yeah.
Mm.
Someday. I'm pretty sure all the excitement is going to keep me just like buzzing. So I'm really pumped about it. It's going to be my first FHL, my first TNC as well. So I'm going to get indoctrinated very quickly.
You will be very, very busy at Funnel Hacking Live. Just saying. I'm keeping you busy.
That's right.
I got plans.
She's got plans. Options, not excuses. And coffee.
Exactly.
It should be like in very little writing.
Did you guys book a room?
And coffee.
I have a room. Jim's got an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's only because someone said,
like,
hey, we
year.
heard you don't have a place to stay. Do you want to stay here? And I said, yeah.
Because I heard
That way
a couple years ago,
you get a
people that
bed and
they
not
didn't
just a
book a
couch.
room.
What's that, James?
They didn't book a room. They didn't book a room through the slots. They actually went and bought a room on a higher level. It was a huge room. It was actually less price than the allotted rooms for the event.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I think people should look into that and see, because I see some people were doing lives like from their rooms, and it was like massive suites for less price than a 2-bed room. So yeah.
Yeah,
Make
but
theirs.
currently everything is sold out at the hotel currently.
That's crazy.
It's
Just come to room 306. All you have to do is pay $9.97 into my online course. I'm only allowing.
We have amazing bonuses.
Yeah.
Do a funnel.
Oh my
to stay
goodness.
in your
Okay,
room
so
with you? That'd be awesome.
I saw something hilarious talking about funnel hacking live and Airbnbs. So something that's quite common that people will do when they've been to a couple FHLs is some people will host their own masterminds. They'll gather a group of people together. They'll rent a nice Airbnb or whatnot. And then they'll either spend a couple days beforehand or afterwards bashing out some great ideas, meeting with others and whatnot, and having a great time. Well, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. It's no one here. But I saw someone post something hilarious. So Funnel Hacking Live is in Orlando. Orlando is not Fort Lauderdale. But someone is hosting a mastermind during the time of Funnel Hacking Live, renting out a gorgeous Airbnb in Fort Lauderdale, thinking that they will be driving up to Orlando every morning for the event and just having evening masterminds at their Airbnb. This person is not from North America, so I think their geography is
That's
a little
tough.
bit challenged.
That's a tough
There's
one.
a few hours of driving in between those two places. And at the price they're asking for, I don't think they've hired Mr. James Havis to fly them between the cities. So just, I thought that was
007.
quite amusing.
Oh, no.
Make sure your Airbnbs is close by.
That's a tough one. That's a tough
Gotta
Why don't
run,
we get
everybody.
a-
Have a
like
great
that
weekend.
again?
You too, James. Thank you
Later,
so much for joining
James.
us, man.
Nice to meet you, James.
But how come we
Absolutely.
never get anything cool like that in Toronto, huh?
Cool, like what?
You guys have
Like Funnel
moose.
Hacking Live.
Yeah, moose.
Don't be greedy. You guys got moose.
Got
That's
me.
We
the
got
best.
moose.
You know why
Yeah.
he did that? Because he knows it gets under your skin. Because
That's correct.
we're close enough to all three of us are close enough to know better, but he just has it anyways.
Especially Metro Detroit. Especially Metro Detroit, because we're essentially like the stepchild of Windsor. Like I grew up going to Windsor more than I was going to anywhere else.
Indeed.
And now no one cares about Windsor, and it's pretty much like Apocalypse Now, but back then it was pretty awesome.
What's stepping?
That is very true.
Everybody understands why, right? Like the main reason for this.
The reason that Windsor went down?
Well, before even still, there's a gap in the drinking age.
Oh yeah, yeah. They let you
True.
drink at 19.
The general people may not know this. They don't understand why Windsor, like when you're between 19 and 21, that's where you are.
What you do?
You're in Metro.
Well,
You just go over
here-
the border, and there's where you are.
Here in Ontario, we go east one province into Quebec because the drinking age is 18,
18,
over
yeah.
there.
Oh man, see if we had
So-
known that, we'd be Quebecing all the time.
We would have been driving.
I would have learned French.
We
I
would have got
not learned French, but I would have
Probably
drank
would've been
enough
a
to where I
nice
thought I did.
12-hour drive.
we would have got our Airbnb in London and drove up to Montreal every day just
you
in
go.
time for the event.
And at that
Oh,
age,
geez.
you're like 3 hours drive for drinking is not that bad. Now it's like if it's not 5 minutes away, you're probably not going to see it.
Yeah, I know. No, you bring it to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere.
I don't want to Uber that far.
Oh my god. You know how many times I've literally just picked up, it'd be like 6 p.m. and my buddies were just in the car and it's just like, you guys want to go to Montreal tonight? And like we just 5-houred it, just
Oh
drank,
my goodness.
had the time of our lives, like, and then the one guy is like obviously not drinking, so he drives us back and he has to deal with us buffoons for 5 hours.
Those
Oh
friends,
boy.
those friends were never appreciated as much as they should have been.
No.
Thank you.
Those
We
friends
salute
were
you.
they never got the credit they deserved. They were literally lifesavers.
As the designated
you.
driver
Oh, yeah.
for many, many years.
Yeah.
I've been
I
there.
appreciate that on behalf of all of the
Tons of-
DDs out there.
Yeah.
It should be
Yes.
should be medals and like accommodations
Yes.
and like because it isn't just like driving. Driving is like the most important part, but it's like head out of the toilet. There's all kinds
Yeah.
of reasons these
Head
people
to the side.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
lay on your side.
They deserve-
Yeah.
they
Driving
deserve-
with the literal just like chaos.
Don't throw up on my couch.
Don't
Yeah.
throw up on my
There might be a
couch.
little self-preservation.
100%.
Oh,
I guess.
no.
I think
had
we
to
should get a
draw the
national
short straw
holiday.
several times, and I was the DD, and I hated every second of it. I hated it because I was like, man, I'm just watching chaos ensue around me, and it's just an annoyance. You're annoying. But when I was in it, I was like, this is pretty good. This is pretty fun. I could do
Had
this
one guy-
more than once.
Now imagine imagine being the DD, putting on opera music and playing it at 1,000 frames per second.
Oh my god, why?
Because it's just hilarious. You'd see everybody in the back like, oh, like,
What? Oh my god, that's awesome.
Molly was ready for that one.
She was ready.
She's-
Just waiting.
Exactly.
she was waiting for
All
yeah.
night. She was waiting for you to say something like
She's
that.
like a
Just waiting.
coiled cobra over there with her unicorn.
She's got like 6 graphics ready to roll. We just haven't said the thing that lets her put it up yet.
Yep. Giant
It'll
panel
happen.
of
Yeah, see,
just
there's
very
one.
specific
The
things
sa-
to press.
What is that? The Soundgarden album? What is that?
It's like playing
The
password.
Soul Asylum?
Yeah, next episode I'm gonna load up secret password graphics, and anytime someone says the secret word, the graphics will show up.
We'll have to do that, right, Pee Wee?
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Oh man.
Jamba.
Jambi. Yeah, I actually said
Jambi.
that. I said that to somebody the other day. They looked at me really weird. They're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I was like, "You don't know about Jambi? The
The
body
floating
list?
head.
Yeah, in the box. You don't know about that? Like, what do you?
You gotta know Jambi.
What do you not know?"
And on that note, I think it's time we close her down, ladies and gentlemen. We have Funnel Hacking Live. Yeah, I mean, Jambi closes it down every time. So we have Funnel Hacking Live coming up next week, which is
Oh.
nuts. It just
How long you
crept
guys
up
gone for?
really fast. 20 to the 24th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna be pretty pumped about that. We're gonna get loud. We're gonna get annoying. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait. And options and
I
excuses,
wish
right?
I was with you guys.
We're gonna get out there and tear it up. And then
Absolutely.
obviously I'm going to TNC, traffic and conversions after that. And Going to be helping out Ken Okazaki with his Go Box that he's created, which is essentially a studio in a briefcase, and which is doing really well. So I'm really excited about that as well. And we have our anniversary that we're going to celebrate of the show. We were going to do it tonight, but we decided to talk about KPIs because we felt like it would be more beneficial to you guys. The anniversary is more or less a celebration. So we're going to push out that celebration to when we can really pump it up and make it awesome for you guys. Get some good bonuses in there. Make sure that's awesome. All right, Molly, he won. He won.
Oh my goodness.
How can you beat that?
Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Microphones down, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming out to Friday Night Live. We will be coming back at you next Friday with another show telling you about how to get attention to your mission, your message, and your movement in a noisy marketplace. And we're going to be covering FHL through the entire event. Super, super excited about it. Molly.
Have a great
I love
weekend,
that you
my
have
friends.
the mic. I know. I know you're like, look at the mic. He's not saying anything about the mic. Why isn't he saying anything about the mic? That's awesome.
You got to bring that to FHL, huh?
No, she will.
100%.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And it's got the logo on it. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Branded and everything.
It's so
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Oh yeah. We have plans. So if you're coming out to Funnel Hacking Live, my friends, come look for us. Come look for the Options Not Excuses crew. We got gifts. We got party swag. We got paraphernalia. I got stickers. Got lots of stickers and more. So come hang out with us. We're doing some interviews. We wanna talk to you guys. We got questions. We want to talk about options, not excuses, and so much more. So come hang out with us at Funnel Hacking Live. We will see you there. And until then, everyone, have a fantastic evening. Remember, we love you. Be excellent to each other, and just go live. Your people are out there waiting for you. Everybody wave goodbye.
Toodles.
Goodbye.
For the queen.